Hello and welcome. You are listening to the DDDA Diets podcast. I am your host, Lorna, certified food freedom coach and founder of the DDDA Diets Academy. I've spent 10 years in an unhealthy relationship with food, binge eating, over-exercising, and feeling insecure in my body. This podcast is all about helping you get to the root of your food struggles and teaching you how to rewire your brain so you can end binge eating. If you're ready to improve your relationship with food and cultivate more self-love towards yourself and your health, this is the podcast for you. So let's get to it and jump right in. Welcome, you guys, to another episode of the DDDA Diets podcast. Today is such a special day for you guys because I am bringing on my badass client who I worked with inside of the DDDA Diets Academy. She is a ball of energy. She is a ball of love. She is a light in this world. She is such an incredible human being. I enjoyed recording this episode so much. Just watching her heal her relationship with food, watch her go all in with healing her relationship with food has been the greatest thing. And you guys are going to hear in this episode, but she decided the moment that she signed up with me, the moment that she committed to joining the academy was the moment that she was fully going to go all in. She was going to go all in. She was going to trust the process. She was going to take action. And it's no wonder why she literally has not been feeling the urge to binge. Despite life being chaotic, despite, things happening in her life, she hasn't been feeling the urge to binge. And we really had like this epiphany moment on this podcast episode, which you're going to listen to, where not only was she able to really heal her relationship with food, she healed her relationship with herself. She loves herself so much more after this process. She loves the person that she's being. She has filled up her own cup. She's feeling so happy, so full of joy now that she's no longer binging, that she just wants to pour her heart and help other people. And this is really, really, really the greatest gift. When you heal your relationship with food, you change your life, you change other people's lives. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ripple effect. So I am so excited for you guys to listen to this episode. I adore this client so much. I literally can't say enough good things about her. She's a beautiful ray of sunshine. She's an action taker. And I'm so excited for you guys to really just see what is possible when you commit. You get the support that you need. You learn from somebody who's conquered binge eating that will make you feel seen and understood. You get plugged into community. You get plugged into support. One thing that she said was, she was listening to my podcast for a few months, and of course it was valuable, but things started shifting for her. She started having less urges. She started binging less when she actually got the proper support. She had the proper tools, but also the customization, the personalized coaching, and the community that you don't get when you just listen to a podcast. So I am so excited. And without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome my client, Bella, to the podcast. Yay. Thank you for popping on. I'm so grateful you are here.
Yes, me too. I've been so excited.
Good. Okay. There's so much I want to chat about, but I never forget the night that you messaged me and you were like, I watched one of your master classes and I'm ready for the academy. Like you just knew what you wanted. So walk me through that. Like what made you be so ready to just go all in?
Well, I first off was watching you for this sounds so not weird, a little weird, but I watched you for probably 6 months. So it was a long time of just I loved all your reels. I saw you on my Instagram and I was like, wow, somebody actually talks about binge eating. This is crazy. There's no shame when she's talking. This is so weird. You were so just when you said binge eating, my body would kind of freak out. And then I would be like, oh my gosh, this girl, she's so beautiful. She's so confident in herself. And she overcame it. And I remember feeling what the heck? Like, how did she do that? Like, I can't believe she had that struggle. Like, it took me a few years to actually understand that, like, I suffered with it, because when I look back at it, it definitely started when I was like really little, like just using food to cope with just random emotions, and like then growing up with being like diet culture, being told like, nope, like eat less than the boys, or like eat, like you can't have carbs, you can't have bread. It's just like the easy. I don't know, to me now it's so easy to pick it out, and now I'm just like, I can eat a sandwich in peace and all these things. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, it is like hysterical to think about. But now it's just like, it's so, the community helped me so much to like put it away from the world, if that makes sense, the world I was living in. And so I think I just kind of live my own life now. And like, I'm actually choosing what I want to eat, how I want to feel, all these things. And so I think it just like, the initial, like, I'm ready was like, I've been doing my own work for a while.
Yes.
And my myself. And I think finally, like, and I listened to your podcast, like, I found your podcast, and I would listen to it, and honestly, like, every podcast episode, you would say, okay, well, if you need more community, like, like, you were like, come to the academy, and I was like, what is the academy? And I was like, oh, this is gonna take forever to figure out. Like, it's probably a bunch of steps, and you're like, all you have to do is DM me academy, I think is what you said, and it was just like, you replied to me right away, and it was like, in that moment, I was so just like, I needed something, and like, you were just like there, and I was like, okay, yes, like, please, I need help.
Yes, yes. And honestly, just I love that you shared that, because it's like you were, doing your own stuff, listening to the podcast, and I'm sure you got value out of it, but you realized like the missing piece is really that community. And I want you to talk about that a little bit, like even being part of a community, like what shifted for you? What was different being part of a community than just like trying to heal on your own?
Oh, it's huge. I think something that I'm really grateful for my family is that we're very like, go get help when you need it. Not like somebody enable me to get better, but it's almost like somebody that has been through your struggle that you're in. Because my mom is super like hands-on, if that makes sense. She's like, okay, like, we're not gonna hide this issue, we're not gonna hide it under the rug, like, go get your help, like, all these things. And so I think naturally I'm just like more inclined and like more open to like, when I have an issue, like, I'm down to like hear someone out, but it takes me a while to like fully trust somebody.
Yeah.
And so I think, well, with you, I just related with so many things you said, and you were just seemed like so nice and so like, and I'm like a little bit sensitive. I think it's like, I didn't want somebody to just be like super tough love and like no pain, no gain, like just really intense. Like, I felt like you were very like compassionate towards me, and like you gave me so much space to heal. Oh, my video is working now. You gave me so much space to heal and like just talk. And I feel like I really needed that in the beginning, and like I really needed somebody to just be like, you can have a cookie, or just like, you can't, like, I am allowing you to like eat like those cravings you have. And like in the beginning, I remember I went insane. Like, I ate like so, like the donuts, I had pretzels out, you know me and my pretzels. I was like, I just want pretzels. I love the salty crunch, and then like this chocolate, and I ate, and then I would get like sick, and I would be like, oh wait, this actually doesn't feel good. And then I would be like, okay, let's try to like maybe eat one or two. And it would just like, I had to like learn for myself, like, okay, like these things aren't bad. And like, it was such a like, it was a very like long process and a long journey, that if I didn't have your program every week to kind of put me back online, because I think diet culture would sneak in again, and it would be like, oh, that's, whoa, you should look at the, like, all the nutrition facts, like, you should see how many fats and carbs and all those things are in there. And you'd be like, oh yeah, I probably shouldn't eat this, but like, I really want this. And I could go on and on, because this is like I'm so passionate about this program, about how much it like literally changed my life, and how just like happy I am, like just with myself, with my body. And I never thought I would say that, but I'm like, and that wasn't even the goal. I remember you were like, our goal is not to lose weight. Like, it's a good to want to like have the desire to lose weight, which I resonated with that. And so when you were like, we're making the goal about our relationship with food, it just like, it took all the stress away. Like, it would be like, and it just like helped me like move forward instead of just like staying stagnant, I feel like.
Yeah. Oh my God. You said so many good things there. And I think like when people first start their journey, like it's so exciting of like, oh my gosh, I could eat the pretzels. I could eat this. But it's like you started to realize like that's not what intuitive eating is. It's like, no, like it's how do I feel? And I know so many calls you were like, I just really want to take care of my body. Like, I really want to feel so good. And I think that's what really helped you find your balance because you were really listening to your body and focusing on the feeling aspect. So do you want to talk about that a little bit of like what really helped you find that balance and allowed you to focus on how certain foods even made you feel?
Wow, that's so good. I think that's honestly the biggest takeaway. I was thinking about it, like preparing for this podcast, just like what are some things that I feel like I really just like took from this whole experience? And I feel like it was being in tune with how I feel and just like there's no one size fits all guide. It's not like going into Brandy Melville and there's only one size for everything. It's like you go and there's all sizes. You know what I mean? And you get what fits you. And I feel like that's me every day now. It's almost like I remember one time you gave this analogy, and I will never stop saying this. Like, I'm taking this to my grave because you said you'll put on a pair of jeans, and like if it's too tight, you're like, oh, well, let's try these ones on, and like you just moved on. And then I remember we were in the program and we were talking, and I was like, oh, like that would ruin my whole day. You know what I mean? And it's just like the whole like you try something on and it doesn't fit, so go find you. You know what I mean? Go do what's best for you. And it's just like, you know, like you don't have to follow. And I think with nowadays, like with social media, I think we get so much information at once. It's almost like an overload of like, do this, don't do this type of workouts, don't eat this types of foods. Like, you know what I mean? And so you're kind of just like, oh, what's everyone else doing? But like, I think you honestly need to try stuff out and then see. In my own experience, I've just tried lots of things and I've tried so many diets since I was 13. So many diets, and I was always just, you know, inflamed in my body and always just like thinking of food constantly and just like never feeling full, even though I was literally physically ill. Like, so like physically full, but my body just like wanted more. I'm like, what is this, you know? And so I think with the whole understanding how I feel and honestly how certain foods make me feel. And like I've learned like right now, this is like so crazy. This is like bringing up emotion because it's still not that it's fresh, but it's like it's still such a fun journey for me, like trying new foods and stuff, that it's like honestly really exciting still. And I like right now I'm super into this like little dip, this buffalo dip that we get from Trader Joe's with like all these crackers, and I'm like, I used to never even let myself eat crackers, you know what I mean? And it's just like such a fun snack. And like let me think what else. There's like, and just like sandwiches, like just a good sandwich. It's just like I wouldn't eat it because of bread. Or like just going to like Christmas this year, best Christmas I've ever had. Ever. Like I had I could cry. Like I literally allowed myself to eat this super yummy cinnamon roll. Like so good. And then honestly, I was like, oh, I'm feeling it right now. So I walked away, and I have my thing where I did this a ton. I don't do it as much because I'm a little bit more like, it's so, my body just like, oh, stop eating. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like moving on. But it's like, before it was like, I would have to like sit and set a timer for 20 minutes. This honestly like saved me. Is I would set a timer for 20 minutes after I felt like I ate like a good meal, like in my mind, because I couldn't feel it in my body, like if I was full or not. And so, because they were so out of whack, like from diets and stuff. And so I like set a 20-minute timer after I felt like I was like, oh, that was a good like sized meal. and then I would like walk away, and then I would get distracted, and then my timer would go off, and I'd be like, oh, I don't even like need food right now. Or I would set my timer and I'd put my face in cold water. That one was awesome. I still do that, but it's not even for like, I don't really get binge urges anymore. And so that's just like, it's so crazy how I can even say that. And so I just don't like, it's just not really, there's not there. And so I'm like, if there's any like, it's helped me with other parts of my life where now I'm like, oh, I'm stressed out. Like, let's set a timer, let's meditate. So it's like, it goes for everything. You know what I mean? It
Yes.
doesn't even if you only have, like, even on the calls, like, some of the ladies, we were like talking and like, okay, this doesn't really relate to like food, but like, this is what's happening in my life. And you're just like, yes, like, I'm here for you. Like, we're all, and it's almost like not even just for that. It's like, it ties into everything. Like, your
Yeah.
relationship with food ties into like everything, which is
Yeah.
so weird. And I didn't realize that until your program.
Yeah, totally. I love that you just shared, like, can we just like take a moment? You're like, I like don't even have like any urges right now. And I love that you shared that because I think probably when you first got started, if I were to tell you, Bella, like you're gonna get to a point where you just don't even feel that urge anymore, you would have probably like laughed in my face and be like, that's not gonna happen, you know? And
I would have been, oh, that's so funny, but I'm just here because I'm like dying. So like, just at least help me get through the next day. Like,
yeah, yeah,
honestly, how it was when I got on. Like, I was at rock bottom, and I think that's why I was so like so eager to join, because I needed something, and I just was following you forever, and I just so many like. And I think I've DM'd you even before, and then I went to a master class and I loved it. I just like couldn't stop like taking all these notes. And so I think it's just like so crazy that whatever you feed grows. And I think I'm gonna be honest, I went all in. And like you
you
said that,
did.
you were like go all in. And
Yeah.
I had to really trust that, to not weigh myself, to not like count my macros, to not over exercise, like, okay, let's stretch today, and like all these things. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna trust her. Like, we're just gonna see where this goes. And now it's just like honestly natural. Like, I just get up and I'm like, ah, let's go move my body. Like, this is actually nice. Like, I'm not gonna go like run on the treadmill for 5 miles just to like kill myself, but let's go run because like this feels so good, and I like love my music that I'm listening to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's just so good. You know?
Yeah. I want to talk about this because you're one of like my like the people that I love coaching because you this entire time, yes, you went all in. I fully back you by when you say you went all in, you fully did. And every time I recommended something to you, you were so open. You were so open to feedback. You're like, oh, like that's a really good idea. I'm gonna go try that. And then you would go implement it. So have you always been like that? Or like kind of walk me through like what helped you go all in? What helped you trust the process? What helped you take such fast action?
Wow, these are such good questions. If I'm being completely honest, I would say it's because of my relationship with God. And
Yeah.
it's totally okay if people don't believe in God, whatever. That's just kind of how I've found peace in my life. And I feel like that has helped me be so open, because when I read his word, it almost feels like he is asking you to do really hard things. And he asks you to go out of your comfort zone. He asks you to love thy enemy. You know what I mean? And it's like, whoa, like those things are so hard. And I had to be so open to like forgiveness, and open to like trusting in him. And I think in trusting in his plan that everything's gonna work out. God loves effort. And so I think honestly just my relationship with him, where I feel like when I would pray, I would feel these like honestly thoughts, and it would be like, okay, I think I really need to go through this, and this is the scariest thing. Like, for me, my personality, I'm very like, I want contention. I don't like to speak up for like myself a lot, because I'm like, okay, I'll just get hurt in the process. But like with people, this is like kind of my relationship with people, and how much has grown with my relationship with God, with food, so many layers. But I feel like just being able to speak up for like what I need. And so I think in a whole roundabout way, knowing what I needed for myself for food, like allowing myself, like, okay, I need this. this. Like, I need some healthy fats right now, or honestly, I just really need a bite of that donut, or like, I need some eggs. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I need some protein. Like, just, and that right now, I need to have some space in this person, or I need to tell her how I actually feel about this, So it's all these things where it's just like, God has just been there holding my hand the whole time. And I feel like, honestly, my first coaching call with you, I stopped. I don't know if you remember this, but I literally controllably sobbing because it just felt like it was, because I was having all these feelings, like, I have to do something. I need to sign up for a program, and I've been following you forever. And I was like, it was a big investment, and I remember being like a little bit nervous, but honestly, I was like, I don't care. Like, I was like, I will spend however much money I need to, like, survive. You know what I mean? Because I can't keep living like this. And so I honestly think the reason why I'm so open is because the Lord has asked me to do really tough things in my life that has always ended up getting better. That I'm like, okay, this is going to be hard. I'm going to meet people on this call that I don't even know, and I don't even know Lorna, even though I'm just like, I feel like from watching all her videos. But it was really, like, scary, but at the same time, I feel like he's asked me to do some tough things in my life, and so I'm like, okay, like, I'm open to this journey, and, like, when I tell you, only good has come out from this, like, only good. And I sent you a text, too, and you were just like, or I just said, you're like, oh, yeah, like, here's some more things you could do, and I'm just like, I'm so excited to continue this journey uphill, and I just feel like I have what I need, and I really am able to, like, use these tools, and, like, they're fun. You know what I mean? Yes. It's not that they're just, like, horrid. Like, oh, I have to do this because I have to punish myself. It's almost like, let's do this because, like, wow, let's give back to you because we're giving so much. You know what I mean? And I know people in your program a lot are, like, moms and are, like, giving, and it's like, okay, like, we can give back too now. That always makes me emotional because I just see, like, with my own mom, like, how hard she works and how much she gives, and then she's like, oh, like, me time. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, yes, like, yeah. it's to just, like, give yourself that love that, honestly, people can't necessarily fill. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's also why you are where you're at, because throughout this journey, you decided it could be fun. You decided, like, I'm going to love myself along this journey. I feel like every single coaching call you came on, I felt like you were glowing a little bit more because it's like you were just so immersed and, like, giving yourself the time, the space, the love as you were healing. Like, if you had a binge, you didn't, like, you like, okay, it sucks that I binged, but, like, I'm going to move on. Like, it's a brand new day. Like, your mindset, your positivity, the love that you have for yourself, I just feel like grew and grew and grew with every single coaching call. And that's what makes this journey fun. It's not just about the destination of conquering binge eating. It's having fun along the way. And, you would ask me so many times, like, even about, like, being more present and just, like, soaking in those little moments of joy throughout the day. And I feel like you've really mastered that. Like, you are somebody I feel is just so, like, way more present in your life. And, you're getting married. Like, there's so many exciting things happening in your life. And I'm just so excited for you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's just, like, it's so crazy because this is, like, the happiest I've ever been. And, like, I know I, like, literally forgot to tell you because it was so new, and this is a conversation I've been having with, like, literally everybody, but I actually just broke off I called off the wedding. And so this is crazy. This is, like, crazy news, but it was all for the best. He was an amazing guy, but I honestly just had to put on my life jacket and just, like, all these tools that I've learned in the program have honestly kept me afloat as well, of just, like, making this decision and being, like, so, like, strong with myself and being like, I'm here for me, and, like, no hard feelings, but, like, it was a good, like, thing. I just, it just wasn't ready. And it's just, like, little life can get shaken. And I think to anybody listening, like, if life really just shakes your world or something happens, just hold on to who you are.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you are with yourself more than you are with anybody else. And so that relationship you have with yourself is so important. And I think like I have been like jumping on the trampoline like in pure like just like kind of it was a slightly like controlling relationship. So I feel like it was really good to just kind of I felt really free and just like jumping on the trampoline full of joy, just like dancing and just like being by myself is so like much fun. You know what I mean? And so it's like I think people that are constantly feeling like they need like something, it's like just go have fun with it, go on a date with yourself, you know, and like obviously
Yes.
connection is so important. I've been hanging out with my friends, you know what I mean, family. And so with that connection, but there's also like don't forget about you, you know, don't forget
Yeah.
about that gem. You know,
I
I know I literally forgot to tell you this. I feel so bad.
No, it's totally okay, but I feel like thank you for sharing that. And I feel like not only have you like healed your relationship with food, you're making such good progress with your relationship with food. Most importantly, I believe you healed your relationship with you.
Yes, Lorna, I think that's what happened. Was I just like I became a different like human, or I just like healed me, and then I'm just like, oh, I don't need to put up with this. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And it's
Yes.
like I was crazy. You literally, that's it. Is I just like became so secure in myself that like it just life just started going really, really this way for me, like all uphill.
Oh
And it
my
was like I got
gosh.
stronger. And like when I tell you, I could not like I'm like a recovering people pleaser, and so I think it was like just I can't tell people like hard things, you know what I mean? And so I feel like I've gotten so like this helped me so all around because I'm not like numbing my life to where I can't like do anything. I have to just like stay in my little bubble and like after work is over, like, okay, well, just like all this, the crazy stuff that happened, all the times I didn't stand up for myself, all the times I felt like I got walked all over, like, I'm just going to go numb it with food instead of being like, okay, hey, this is like not okay. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, I'm just going to like calm down, just take 5 minutes. I'm just going to lay down and meditate. I'm going to do some stretches. You know what I mean? It's just my whole life has changed with how I like cope. You know what I mean? With just like life, because life is hard.
Yes.
And life gets tough, and you need to find peace. And I think it's just we think it's hard. I thought it was harder than I thought. You know what I mean? I just thought like I remember feeling like food was it. Like that was like nothing could like in all honesty, that dopamine hits that you get from binge eating are so high that honestly anything in real life, like dopamine hits, it's kinda like here. Yeah, it's like a little bit lower. You know what I mean? And so every time that you go and do the like good habit, like you're still not gonna get the total dopamine hit that you get from like your addiction, but it's almost like the more that you just like really like, okay, I just gotta choose this. You know what I mean? And you do have to have that discipline. And I remember there's been so many layers of this journey that I've been on, and I feel like it all started with that. For me, it started with so much self-compassion, like so much just love for this is like little Bella, like for the little girl inside of me, like it's okay, like let's just hug her. And then I got to the point where I was like, okay, like I can do this. And it was like, okay, let's pull on some discipline here and like let's like start choosing this life that's yours and not like let's live this life that you only have once. You know what I mean? Like let's make it the best. And then it was like, okay, like I'm gonna start getting up earlier, you know, and now let's do these habits, but with love, not with hate towards myself, but like let's do this because this is fun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
And I love myself.
yes. And so life is tough, but wow, with all these habits, you really can just like happiness truly does not come from money. It does not come from clothes. Happiness comes from within. You already have it in you. And I think just this program is really what I needed. And like, and it's not one size fits all. And that's what I love about it is that you're not rigid. You're very just like, every person comes with their crazy stuff. And you're just like, I remember there'd be a few times when I would have a question and like, Lorna, good luck answering this question. And you'd be like, oh, well, and you would just like know exactly what to say. And I'd just be like, she's so good at this. She's so good. I don't know how she does this. Like, I was like, there's no way she's going to know how to help me with this crazy situation. But like, you always just like had something, You know what I mean? Something in there that was like, could get me through the week, you know,
Yeah.
that I could hold on to.
I feel like those calls are just like booster calls, you know, like it just really helps you continue this journey, because like you said, when you were trying on your own and you were just listening to the podcast, it's like you received the information, but there was not that support, you know. And then of course, being in the academy, it's like you learn the information, but what's more powerful is you come to me with your specific questions and I just pour into you whatever you need. And those are like your little booster sessions, you know, to like keep you going, you know. Yeah.
Totally.
I love that. One thing I want to mention, because obviously, like you mentioned, life is tough, life is hard. There's going to be days where, you know, you're feeling stress or things happen, and you've been able to still not feel this urge despite all the craziness happening. And I just want to share that with everyone listening, because I think for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I binge because I'm stressed, or I binge because of this. And it's like, once you learn how to really regulate your nervous system and get rid of your urges, things can happen to you and you're not coping with food because you don't have those urges anymore. You learned all the tools to really get rid of those urges. And I just wanted to even like celebrate you, because you've been so dedicated to utilizing those tools. It's just like second nature for you right now. You know, it's like, I know all the tools, like, and now you really haven't been having urges, which is so amazing.
Yeah, I like 100% agree with you and I just feel like with anybody listening, this is the best feeling. Like, it tops any type of binge that you'll ever have. It's like, it is so worth it. Like, I've never been so happy, and like, it's such a like feeling of like, you know, that feeling like after you do something really hard and you're just like, oh, wow, like you can just like if you have a really productive day kind of, and you like, you know, go to bed and you're like, wow, that was like a really good day. It's almost like that. Like, you just have this overwhelming feeling. Like, I just feel like I've had this overwhelming feeling of like, oh, that race, still going on that race. It is still a race, but I'm saying this like mountain, you know, at the top of every mountain is the bottom of another mountain, you know. And so that's how I feel right now, is that mountain was so steep and you think you can't do it, but I think with so much help and like with reaching out and not isolating yourself has helped me so much. And I think I didn't even think I was even going to bring this up, because I mean, I've always felt really inspired when people are really real with me and they're not like, oh, life is so perfect, but like, yeah, this was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, break off this engagement. And I just, once I knew this is like what I needed to do, I just went full, like all into it, you know. I'm just an all in kind of person, and just like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is where I feel guided. And I truly believe that if any of you feel guided, go all in, because it's just like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, just try it and see like what happens. Like, that's what faith is. It's like doing things without knowing the results. It's like, but just having that underlying belief that like, what if? I remember you would say that, like, guys, what is your what if sentence? And you were like, what if? And you were like, hey guys, and I would say like, oh well, what if blank? And it was like, for me, it was like, what if I actually conquered this thing?
Yes.
Or like, what like I could feel so good in my own skin? Like, what if I just could feel so good with eating this meal that just is so delicious, the pasta that what you really want on the menu, not the lowest calorie option. Like, what if I got the pizza and just like enjoyed it? You know what I mean? And then like, once I felt satisfied, like, just sit in that, and I know you're gonna like, part of you is like, oh, this is so good, so good. It's like, I want to keep eating it. Okay, well, I'm gonna save this for later because I'm actually full, and so I'm not gonna hurt myself, because that's rude. I love me. So I'm gonna save this for later, and we're gonna like, it's just so much like compassion and so much like like, don't eat this, don't eat that. Very just like loving. And sorry I talk so much. I could go on and on about this. It's like dangerous asking me a question, because then I'll just like all over.
I love it though. Like, you're just so passionate about life. You're so like, You're just such a loving human being. And I'm just so grateful that we cross paths, because literally, like, you are like my soulmate client who just like shows up, goes all in, trusts the process, like has fun along the way. You are so like plugged in, like it literally just makes me so happy. And it's true. Like, what if, like, literally, what if you're listening to this and you were like Bella a few months ago that decided to go all in? Your life can radically change in the next few months, you know? So I'm just so glad, Bella, that you trusted your intuition, you leaned in, you didn't let fear or doubt get in the way. Like, you just chose to trust the process. Is there any last minute things that you feel you want to share?
Just that I am just so happy and like just I want to share it, and I just want to fill other people's life with light. And that's ultimately what I feel like my next step is because once I poured all this into me, like into like you helped me, because here's the thing, this is like from an outside perspective. When I look at you and all the progress you've made in your life from the hard relationship you had with food years ago, and like looking at you now, like that's who I want it to be. I'm like, I just want to be someone who can help people. And I think we all have that inside of us. Like, we want to serve, we want to help, but we cannot help people if we have not helped ourselves. Yeah. And so I think ultimately, like, help yourself, save yourself, love yourself, invest in yourself, because oh my goodness, the real joy seriously comes from helping others too. And helping other people, like when you can spot that, you know, and on Instagram, it's like when you know someone has an eating disorder because you have one, because like when they look at or like certain stuff and you're like, oh no, like, and if somebody opens up to you, like, you're gonna know exactly what to say. You're gonna know exactly which podcast and which program to tell them, Lorna's. And it's just, that would be my last thing, is that I'm really excited for 2024, a new start, a fresh start, new beginnings. The sun always comes up the next day. It's so reliable. The sun is just like all of our friends. And so get out in the sunshine and really just like love yourself and just fill this year with love, because ultimately I think that's my next step, is just like lighting up the world more, because I just am so full. I'm like, I can't contain it. You know what I mean? But before, so not.
You were like depleted, and now you're overflowing.
And I'm overflowing. And so now it's almost like, okay, I need to go do some good in the world, you know, and this is fun. It's not like I'm serving out of like, oh, like I need to do this. It's almost like, oh, like I'm so excited to lift other people because I'm so lifted inside, you know, and like this has just been like, this like past my expectations of what I'd get out of this. And so I'm so grateful.
That makes me so happy. And you're already pouring, like, even coming on here, like, you're changing so many people's lives right now, just coming and sharing your experience. Like, you don't know how grateful people are just hearing you say these words, hearing you even say the words, love yourself, go all in. Like, that is changing somebody's life right now. So I am so grateful for you, Bella. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being yourself, going all in, loving yourself, trusting this process. Like, I'm just so grateful for you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Love you, Lorna.
Yeah, I love you too, girl. We'll definitely stay connected, and you'll have to listen to this episode once it comes out. That'll be so much fun.
Yeah, it'll be so weird to hear my own voice.
I know, but this is like so good, because you'll always have this to come back to and be like, holy moly, like I did that.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
Like, so good. So good. Awesome. All right, my love. Thank you. And we'll chat with you soon.
Okay. See ya. Bye.